let's talk about the hottest topic in the SEC right now. That is the Coach O, I'm resigning at the end of the year to take a $17 million vacation until otherwise noted. Topic that kind of came up right around game time. And of course, it was even more evident after the game that you realized that a victory against a top 25 Florida team is no longer good enough to keep your job anymore. I mean, just your thoughts about Coach O. Was it a pride thing to say, I want to be resign as opposed to being fired? And then did you read your contract right before the game and say, you know what? 17 mil to not do anything sounds pretty good right now. I mean, what are your thoughts about how that all went down with Coach O and LSU?
Wow, man! I don't know how it all went down, but I think there's a really good chance that Coach O looked up and found himself in a position that's borderline embarrassing, right? I mean, and with how he's managed that program since they won the national title. And I'm not talking about hiring the wrong offensive and defensive coordinators or unproven guys and it not working out. I'm just talking about some of the stories that are starting to pop about how he was handling his own business, how he was making other things a priority instead of football. And when all of a sudden, when you're losing ball games and your program appears to be in a dysfunctional state, and those kind of stories start popping, I think this is a save face move by Ed Orgeron. Now, if there wasn't 17 million reasons sitting on the other side to bow out of this thing, I don't think he would. But you're sitting there and you're going, okay, they're already starting to investigate, for a lack of better term. Stories are starting to come out about how he's been conducting his business personally and professionally, and it's all embarrassing. It's all, I don't care how big your ego is or how much of a man that you want to beat your chest is. When you just went through a divorce and this made public how you're acting, no, that's embarrassing as hell. And so, man, I just think that he's got himself in a position where it's very simple for him to go, hey, for me and for the kids and for my staff, it's better off if I just walk away, wash my hands of it, save a lot of embarrassment for everybody involved, which I caused as a head coach, and move on, man. To me, this is not a guy that is in love with coaching football and will do anything to have the head coach position at LSU where he grew up. This is a guy that's running from some embarrassment, if you ask me. And again, they're going to pay him $17 million to run from it. It's an easy decision.
Yeah, and I mean, and the other thing is, it's different if you kept personal life separate from professional life, right?
Yeah.
But they started to bleed and intertwine, and that was where the issues came, because it wasn't like, oh, it's hearsay because the team and the coaches saw it, but the media could see it when they came to watch the practices, or they were privy to being around the program. And I think that's what kind of made it tough. And then, of course, there's that special number between 8 and 10 that has a title before it that also leads to some issues, and that's also with the management problem. So, I mean, it's sad because I knew Coach O, right? Coach O recruited me at USC to be a defensive lineman. Glad he was wrong on what he saw, because I was weird. But I developed a relationship with Coach O. And to see this kind of go and fall the way that it did after it was such a great kind of Phoenix from the ashes moment, right? Because we remember his previous stint, in the SEC at Ole Miss, and how he got ran out of town and went back to USC. And then now he gets his hometown team to give him a shot, and then he answers them back by bringing a trophy to him. And then to see it kind of all crash and burn is just kind of, it's a sad situation, but also you can't be too sad because, like you said, he has the golden parachute package, and he decided to conduct himself the way that he did. I mean, way too many shirtless shots that I wanted to see, Coach O.
Yeah, look, let's be honest, man. I mean, live the life you want to live, man. Go do you. It's none of my business, but you got to manage it. Yeah. I mean, any way you slice it, you've got to be able to manage it. And the truth of the matter is him better than I do. Let's be honest. Coach O's not a real dynamic dude. right? When it comes to the juggling act that a head coach has to manage, dealing with Scott Woodward, dealing with the boosters, dealing with players, dealing with the women that you're jacking with off the field, and all the media and all the critics. I mean, you got to be a dynamic dude to sleep well at night when you got all that kind of stuff screwed up, right? He's got it screwed up. He's already won a national title. He's got $17 million. He's single. There's no other reason. Nobody else telling him he needs to stay. This is a save face play if I've ever seen one, and it's probably the right decision, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I mean, where things are, hey, you can't put gasoline on that fire. You got to eventually throw some water on it.
That's right.
So you got some type of retardant in there to simmer it down. I mean, and that'll be now the next guy's job that LSU is going to have to go out and search for to get the right guy in there to want to go in and clean up and, try and save recruits. Because let's face it, we're also in the era of the transfer portal where guys will jump ship immediately, and you have some good building blocks there, but can you keep them? Is the name going to be attractive enough to keep those guys there and not further bury yourself into the bottom of the West? Because because LSU has a lot of pride. This is a very successful program when you look at from 2000 to now, over the last 20 years. These boys have played for national titles on more than one occasion, and they're a team that's always looking, to strike like a tiger and wait, right?
Right. Yeah. Look, I mean, here's the deal: is if LSU doesn't get this hire right, it's their own fault, man. I mean, this is one of those situations where there's some really, really good coaches out there that we may not even feel like are available, or not, that their contracts may not feel like they're available. We all know they are, especially if a school like LSU comes calling. So, Scott Woodward, again, the athletic director at LSU, is no stranger to reeling in the big fish when it comes to finding a coach. I would be shocked if they didn't get an absolute game changer, whether it's a young up and comer that's maybe been there before, that everybody loves, that's super dynamic. You know what I'm talking about, Joe Brady. Joe Brady's a guy that was interviewing for NFL head jobs, so it's not like you'd be taking this major risk that nobody else was willing to take. Or it's somebody like a Lane Kiffin that you pull from an organization, a program within the SEC that is a dynamic offensive mind. It would be a shame if they didn't hit a home run with this particular hire out of the gate. Nobody knows what's going to happen a year or 2 years from now, but this should be a hire that everybody in the SEC sits back and goes, "Uh-oh, what are we going to do?" LSU talent with that head coach, boy, that spells potential trouble. So if they get it wrong, it's their own damn fault in today's environment.
Yeah, I just don't want to see Bill O'Brien get interviewed. Anyways.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Because that's what everybody else has done, right? You're getting a lot as either a Saban assistant / coordinator that gets a retread, or, and like you said, I hope it's on the dynamic side. I think what you said makes perfect sense. I'll even throw a Luke Fickell into the mix, as a dynamic coach, but, we'll see.
I mean, look at Aranda from Baylor. I mean, he's absolutely killing it. He's got a track record there. Joe Brady in Carolina, he's doing well. He would be a good look. Like I said, I think Lane Kiffin. I think what's my man at Iowa State? Obviously, he's always a hot ticket item. Yeah, he's always a hot item ticket. So there's just too many good ones out there, and you've got too big of a checkbook, too deep of pockets to miss on this hire right here.